supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great.
Mount Everest ain't got shit on me, 'cause I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. Yeah.
There is this story that I want to read to you. I needed to have a little break from the story. I'll continue in a minute, but I'm editing this video, and as I'm editing the video, we just hit #1 in the App Store with the Gains for Brains app, which is insane and incredible, and I'm so extremely excited and proud, and it is just the beginning, and I'm just so grateful. It's because of the Black Friday sale. We currently have 60% off our yearly subscription, which makes it just €4 or $4 a month, which is nothing. If you want to go ahead and check it out, I'll leave it in the description box down below. It's limited time only, so lock in your lower rate now. Basically, the app, we have tons of different gym programs, different home programs. You can select how many days a week you want to train. The program is adjusted for it. You can select your experience level. The program is adjusted for it. It will take you through the entire thing with video demonstrations. We have autoplay where it just runs for you. You can keep track of your weights. We have new recipes that we add every single week. It's everything you need to reach your goals, to stay consistent, to build healthy habits for just $4 or €4 per month now, because it's 60% off yearly. So if you want to go ahead and check it out, I'll leave the link in the description box. Let's continue with the story. Thank you so much, #1. I cannot believe this is real life. There is this story that I want to read to you. You can replace the word God for anything that you desire. You can keep it as it is. I'm just reading the story. It says, I asked for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom, and God gave me problems to solve. I asked for courage, and God gave me dangers to overcome. I asked for love, and God gave me troubled people to help. My prayers were answered. I used to view feeling pressured as something negative, as an obstacle that was in the way of me getting towards my goals. Now that I'm older, I realized that there was this pattern, and that pattern was always related to the fact that feeling pressured was actually the thing that was always on the forefront of either change, of me reaching the goals that I set out for myself. Which means, in other words, that feeling pressured, instead of being an obstacle that is in the way of getting where you want to go, it is actually a prerequisite. It is actually something that is part of the journey, that is part of who you have to become in order to get to where you want to be. Because when you think about it, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. But if you want something else for yourself, if you want something more, then that means that you have got to do the things that you haven't done before. And it's exactly the same way in the gym. If you want to grow, if you want to build muscle mass, if you want to increase your strength, you have to apply pressure. And then when you hit a plateau in your training, you need to apply increased pressure again. Because once you've reached that level where you are adapting to the stress, to the pressure, it no longer feels as pressure. It's normal. You've increased your standards. You can handle it now without feeling pressured. So if you then want to continue to grow, you have to apply pressure again. You need to feel pressure again. It is exactly the same thing in the gym. It's why I love training so much, because in that sense, every single time that you go to the gym, every single time that you train, that you do a rep, that you push yourself, it is you growing through that pressure, using that pressure, looking for that pressure, and using it to your advantage. And that is something, that mental strength, the mental capacity that is increasing from that, is something that you can apply in your life. It's like you're training your body and you're training your mind at the same time. It's how mountains grow. They need pressure in order to form, which means that you will be formed under pressure. I am following Gain Season, the gym program from my app. I also have a home program. It is a 70-day movement challenge, and it is killing me in the best way possible. So we have an anterior posterior chain split. Today I'm doing a posterior chain workout, which is the muscles located on the back side of your body. So I'm training glutes, hamstrings, and I'm training back. That's like the main focus. And next to that, we also have daily walks, or whenever you train, you also have to do a walk, and mobility workouts as part of the challenge. It's such a good way of building healthy habits. It's such a good way of building consistency again, or introducing consistency. You just have to make sure that you make it a non-negotiable for yourself. So every time that you say that you're going to train, you're actually showing up for yourself and doing it. It's also the best way to build confidence, because if you always do what you say that you'll do, you know that you can trust yourself, and that will build your confidence from the inside out. I'm doing an RDL in the Smith machine. I love doing RDLs in the Smith machine because there's just something about the way that you can almost lean into the movement that you can't really do when you're just doing a barbell RDL, that will allow me to 100% focus on my glutes and on my hamstrings. So it's a great variation. I am using lifting straps because I do want to try to push my weights. We first always start with warm-up sets. They're also included in the app. It's really important to prep your nervous system, to make sure that your body is prepped, and then you'll actually be able to not only push yourself more during your working sets, but it also decreases the risk of getting injured, which is key. This exercise that we're doing is a lateral pull down. It's a vertical pull for your back, for your lats specifically. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you grab them just slightly wider than your lats, not too wide, not too narrow. And then I'm going to bring it towards my upper chest. We're back at the Smith machine, and this time we're here for hip thrust. As you can see, I'm using a step to elevate myself. I'm not using a bench because to me the bench is a little bit too high in terms of elevation, and then I don't feel it as much in my glutes. So I'm using the step, but this is personal preference. It's for you to figure out what works best for you and make sure that you change your setup based on what feels great for you. I am hoping that you can see that I do this movement in a very controlled fashion. The reason why I trained controlled is because it allows me to target the intended muscles better. It also minimizes the risk of getting injured, which for me, I do this for longevity. Even though I love growing my glutes, as we all know, my main focus is my health, longevity, growing old, growing strong. So for me, it makes sense to try to minimize the risk of getting injured, because I don't want to be out of the gym. I want to be in the gym, pushing myself. However, this is not a free pass for you to then use a weight that is also really light and easy to move around. So don't get me wrong, I try to train in a controlled way, but I still push myself to the max within that style of training. So I still overload, I use the max weight that I can possibly do, and I just try to control my reps, the execution of them. And then generally speaking, I prefer the setup of the hip thrust compared to a barbell because it's just less of a hassle, and I can even lift the bar without holding it by my hands, which then allows me to use my glutes even more. But again, that's for you to figure out, to try, play around with the setup, see what works best for you, because what works best for you might be different compared to what works best for me, just because of different body mechanics. We're doing bent over barbell rows. I'm going to row towards my belly button. Make sure that you keep your core really tight with this exercise. And I also try to not use any momentum until I reach my max capacity, or what I think is my max capacity. And then I will kind of use momentum to get a few more reps out of it.
Get back to fucking work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the noise. Get back to the mental lab.